Okay, so linear regression and all you have understood fully.
Yeah, we have understood, but we couldn't practice properly. Like
Okay,
not getting time, that is a problem.
okay, okay. So these past days also I got fully busy. I thought of like in the meet time to come and
Mhm,
do the class, but it was not possible.
mhm,
Also, internet was not there. Like I was there in Allahabad for few days, in Odisha for few days, so it was not possible.
mhm,
So this one, okay. So see, regression is nothing but a predictive modeling technique. So like we have already understood about it. Like it's used for prediction. How does it do prediction? By understanding the relationship between independent and dependent variable. That is, it tries to understand how x and y are related, and by understanding that relationship, it can also predict the values. Based on new x value, it can give you some y value. So that's what we understood in regression. So now regression is of multiple types. So we saw like simple linear regression and multiple linear regression. Like that, there are other regressions like polynomial regression, ridge regression, lasso regression, all those kind of regression. Now see, polynomial regression is something which is also used quite a lot, but polynomial regression is nothing but it's kind of like adding degree to the equations. Like if you like suppose you have a non like a curvilinear line, like you don't have a straight line. Like mostly linear regression you can use when your x and y are very correlated, means like linearly correlated, means like they are straight with one another. Like when x is increasing, y is also increasing. In those kind of scenario you use linear regression. But suppose the line is little bit curved in like if like curved in this sense, like if you see, okay, like if the line is little bit curved, like if you see this graph, you can see that in this graph the line is little bit curved, it's not very straight. So then in this kind of relationship between x and y, we'll be using something called as polynomial regression. Now polynomial regression we didn't do in practice. Like we'll be doing it when we go to this one, that is machine learning. That time we will see how to work around with polynomial. It's very easy, like on top of linear only you can use that. But today we are going to look into a different type of regression, that is called as logistic regression. So now in regression, mostly regression is used for continuous data analysis. Continuous data analysis means when your dependent variable is continuous. So dependent variable is nothing but the target, means which you are targeting, like what you are trying to find out within the data study, that is your dependent variable. So now if the dependent variable is continuous, you will go with regression. But this logistic regression is a different kind of regression which is not used for continuous data study. It is used for categorical data analysis. So if your data in the dependent variable is categorical, then only you go with logistic regression. So categorical data analysis is also called as classification. Like when you are analyzing categorical data, like that is if your dependent variable is categorical and you are analyzing those kind of data, it is also called as classification, like classifying one thing with the other thing. Like saying if something is, like you are trying to find out if something is a dog or a cat, like you are classifying like who is going to win the coming elections, like BJP, Congress, or AAP or something else. So those are like classification. So now logistic regression is actually a classification algorithm. Okay, like people usually misunderstand saying it's a regression algorithm. The name is regression, but actually it is a classification algorithm. It's used for categorical data analysis. You are getting till this?
It means you are returning only 0, 1 in the form or yes or no form, right?
Yeah, it can be 0, 1, it can be yes, no, it can be like more than two, like not only yes, no, it can be like BJP, Congress, AAP, JDS. So it can be more than 2. Like whenever your data is categorical, categorical means data which doesn't change over time. Like you have like a determined set of data. In those kind of scenario, you can go with logistic. Getting?
Yes.
Getting right?
So it's
So now,
like binary 1 or 0 or yes or no. That's two values.
like categorical data, did I tell you about categorical data earlier? Like types of categorical data? There
Yeah,
are three types.
nominal and this
Yes,
kind of
nominal,
uh,
ordinal, dichotomous.
ordinal. Yeah.
Any of this data, you can go with logistic. Any of the categorical data. Okay, like if the data is nominal or ordinal or dichotomous. But mostly logistic regression only works good on dichotomous data. That means yes, no, true, false for those kind of data, means binary data. It works good. If the data is more than 2, like if your categories are more than 2, logistic regression doesn't work that good as compared to other algorithms. Right now we have lot of algorithms. That's where for multi-class classification, multi-class means when you have more than 2 classes, usually logistic regression is not being practiced. Okay, for binary classification only logistic regression is being practiced. Okay, we'll understand more into that once you understand how logistic regression works. You'll get to know why we should not be using logistic regression for classification of more than 2 classes. Okay. So now see
Sarup,
here.
Sarup,
Yeah,
here you are saying that two classes means like two variables or
two categories.
two categorical variables, right?
Yeah, two categories. Two classes means two categories. Categories are also called as classes.
Okay.
Okay, like here in this case we have two categories. Like this is an example. In this example, suppose we want to find out if suppose a bank company is there, and bank company wants to find out if it should approve loan or should not approve loan for the individuals based on credit score. Okay, based on credit score, suppose a bank wants to find out if they should approve loan or should not approve loan. So now here they have a data set of loan being approved and loan didn't being approved based on credit score. So it says credit score 655, loan didn't get approved. Credit score 692, loan didn't get approved. For some credit score 681, loan didn't get approved. For some credit score 663, loan got approved. So like that it says. So now this is nothing but 0 and 1. So approve or didn't get approved. This is our dependent variable and it says 0 or 1. So it is of two class or two categories. So this is dichotomous. So for this is also called as binary classes. For binary classes, logistic regression is good. If you have more than two classes, there are other classification algorithm which perform better than logistic. Getting?
Yeah.
So now see here, like credit score for loan, like here we can here the relationship is not straight, like not very much linear. Like you have seen linear regression and all. When x increases, y also increases. But here, if you see, it looks like values are very far from one another. So it's like separate from one another. So in this scenario, we cannot just put a straight line. Like we were trying to find out a straight line in case of linear regression, we cannot do that here. So here we need to use some different kind of algorithm or function or equation to like find out the relationship between this. So now here this is our model, like based on credit score. It says either like we'll be using logistic regression. It will tell either the loan should be approved or not approved. So like that it has to tell. So this is a classification problem. So this is not a regression problem. It's a classification problem. Classification means it has to classify, saying okay, if the credit score is this, either the loan should be approved, that is class 1, or loan should not be approved, that is class 2. Like the two different classes we have here. So now some examples of linear versus logistic regression will be, linear will be like predicting the weather condition, like what is going to be the weather it is linear. Okay, and will customer buy an insurance or not? That will be logistic. Similarly, house price, like which is continuous, it will be linear. Is email spam or not? It will be logistic. So like that, these are certain examples which are there. So always predicted value in linear regression or linear regression is always continuous. Predicted value in logistic is always categorical. So now logistic regression classification type, it can be used for two types. Like it can be used for binary classification as well as multi-class classification. But for multi-class classification, logistic regression is not that good. There are other algorithms, but still it is being practiced for multi-class as well. But we have some more sophisticated algorithm for multi-class. For binary, logistic regression always works good. So now to understand the like function behind logistic regression, so now how logistic regression works. So there is something called a sigmoid activation function. So there is a function called a sigmoid function or sigmoid activation function, using which we'll be like finding out this logistic regression line. So now see, for linear regression, what was the function for linear regression? Can you recall? What was the function for linear regression? Y equal to, what was that? Y equal to,
Y equal to mx plus c.
yes, mx plus c. So that was the that was our equation. That is also called as regression equation. In that, we like in linear regression, we were trying to find out slope and we were trying to find out the intercept. That's where like we can easily relate x with y. But here we cannot find slope or intercept because we cannot put a straight line. Here there is no line. Here that's why it's we use a different function here. And also our data is now categorical. Like our classification is categorical, so we have to use this called as sigmoid function. So now here what we do, here we map predicted values to probabilities. So now we, like whatever we predict, those values are always mapped with probability here, and that is by using sigmoid activation function. So the function maps any real value into another value between 0 and 1. So any value you give to this function, it will map it between 0 and 1. So that is within probability it will map. So in machine learning, we use sigmoid to map predictions to probability. So here we use sigmoid to map predictions, like whatever it is predicting, to probability. So now that probability will tell us like how sure our model is that the predicted value belongs to class 0 or class 1. So to understand this, suppose we want to find out if the loan is going to be approved or not. So using this function, it will tell us what is the likelihood of loan being approved and what is the likelihood of loan not being approved. So based on that, if the likelihood is very high for loan being approved, so we'll say okay, loan will be approved. If likelihood is very less, we'll say a loan will not be approved. So that we will get by using this function, that is f of x. This is called a sigmoid function, equal to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus x. So this sigmoid function is used in deep learning as well. Like if you go to neural networks and all, like when you learn deep learning, neural nets, okay, in those places also you will see there are a lot of activation functions which are used in neural nets. Activation functions are the major building block in neural net. So in those activation function, you will find one such is sigmoid activation function. Now sigmoid activation function is very famous and it's widely used in deep learning for doing again binary classification, like yes, no, 0, 1, approved, not approved, those kind of scenario. Sigmoid activation function is always used. So this function always maps your prediction values to probabilities. So now f of x equal to 1 plus 1 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus x. This is the function. So now here x is nothing but the input to the function. So this is like whatever input we give to the value to the function, and e here is base of natural log, and f of x is nothing but it is the probability output. Like it will tell you either like what is the probability value? It should be always, it will always be within 0 to 1, like 0.56, 0.89 means 89%, 0.92 means 92%. So like that, this value you will get. And here E is nothing but base of natural log. Like you would have already calculated logs like earlier, like in your college times, like we have scientific calculator, in that you can calculate natural log. So here
Log, for log, there should be one table is there, right? Booklet will provide.
yeah, log tables are there, natural log tables are there. Okay, the like, but here log calculation usually we don't do in pen paper. We use scientific calculators to do that. So here, E is nothing but again that is base of natural log. So here 1 by 1 plus e to the power, that is base of natural log to the power minus of the x value, that is nothing but the input value. So this will give you the probability for that specific variable, like what is the probability of that value falling either into class A or class B, like that it will tell. So now this is the function which will be used here, and based on that function it will give you a line, this line. Okay, so you can see this line, this is called as sigmoid line. So now sigmoid function will help you out to find out this line, that is your sigmoid line. So sigmoid line is this S line which you see here, this yellow line, that is this S line. Okay, this line will help you out to categorize your data, either like categorize your data to different classes. Like if the data is falling, like here you see one blue line is there, so this blue line is nothing but decision boundary. Like this will help you out to decide on the data. So if your decision boundary is at the center, that is at 0.5, so you will tell if the probability is more than 50%, 0.5 means 50%. If the probability is more than 50%, it belongs to class 1. If the probability is less than 50%, it belongs to class 0. Suppose you have two classes. Classes are nothing but categories. Suppose class 0 means loan didn't get approved. Class 1 means loan will get approved. So you will say if my probability for that variable is more than 50%, then I will say okay, loan will be approved. If it is less than 50%, I'll say okay, loan will not be approved. So like that. So what is the chance of loan being approved? So like that, here based on this sigmoid, we can easily decide if the loan will be approved or not approved. Okay, so this is what we get from the logistic equation. So are you getting till this?
Yes.
Okay, so now here in logistic regression again,
So, Sarup,
uh,
like this sigmoid line is automatic calculated or like, matlab, how does it calculate? Through only this
using
that
this f
form?
of x, using this function,
Okay,
using this
okay.
function, we will find that line.
So like the curve, like there is a S sign of curve is there, right? In the
Yeah,
picture.
always this like this curve will be there.
So every time if you use a logistic regression, the curve should be like this only.
Yes, yes, curve should be like this.
Okay.
Curve should be like this, and all the variables will be mapped with probability. Like if you want to see the actual scenario, this is how it looks. Okay, like all these variables, like this is your sigmoid. Sigmoid always will be like this. Okay, but based on the data set what you have, this might change. Like the line might change the orientation little bit, and based on that, like all these values whichever are there, we have calculated probability for each of them, and it says if it is red, it is of one category, blue, it is of different category. Like that.
And who will decide that like but that particular, let's say I'm giving the example, where is the, we have only two yes or no. Okay. So who will decide and how will it decide ki it should be like you in a previous it will like 50, if up to above the 50%, 50, then it should be yes. If less than 50, then it's a no. But in like real time example, how the this line should be drawn, like mean line, or you can say, like whether it's like
Yeah,
here
see,
you.
actually here what it does first, we'll be dividing our data into two classes. Suppose you are doing two types of classification, means two categories. Your data will be divided into two class. So now whatever like you are like whatever sigmoid you are finding out, you will find out with respect to one type of conclusion. So either you are trying to find out loan will be approved. What is the probability of loan being approved, like that?
Okay.
Okay, so if the probability is higher, you will say okay, it will be approved. If the probability is lower than some whatever value you have figured out, you will say no, it will not be approved. So you will say class 1 or class 0. Approved means, suppose approved is class 1. Suppose you are doing the other way around. Okay, so that depends on how your model is working. So usually, like in a binary classification, you will have 0 or 1. Okay, like that,
Right.
suppose you are trying to find out if something is dog or cat, you will not find out dog or cat, you will find out either dog or not a dog, like that. Okay, like binary classifications are done like that, dog or not a dog. So what is the chance of dog? That's what you will find out.
And here the threshold, like here is mentioned here, if our threshold is 0.5 and our
Yeah,
prediction function is 0.7, so it should be class 1, right?
yes.
Otherwise, class, if it's 0.2, is class 2. So, like what the threshold value, the 0.5, who
See,
will
see, see.
decide?
That we have this is what we can also change. By default, it is 0.5. We can
Right.
change this.
Okay, okay,
We can
okay,
change. Like you will tell, okay, if my confidence is more than 60, I will say it's a dog. If it is less than 60, I will say it's a cat. Means it's not a dog, like that.
okay.
You see? So that we can also set. By default, threshold is always set at 0.5. Okay, in logistic also by default means 50%, more than 50% chance, you will say class 1, less than that class 0. So now if you see, this is the decision boundary. Based on the decision boundary, you have to tell, okay, this decision boundary will always be at the center. Okay, so getting any other doubt is there on that?
No, no.
Okay, so now one more thing in logistic regression, again, cost function. Like cost function is again different here. Like whatever cost function we saw in linear regression, we cannot use the same cost function here, because that cost function is used when you are working around a line equation. But here we are working around sigmoid function, so it's a different function here. So cost function also will be different. So now here cost function in logistic regression is given by this. There is this particular thing, like you see here, j theta. So j theta is nothing but theta is like the input value whatever you are giving. So here it is given as minus 1 by m. So cost function j is given as minus 1 by m summation of y into log of h theta x. So now this h theta x is nothing but this is the this is, you can tell as your predicted value. Okay, like y is your observed value, h theta x is nothing but a predicted value, that is y pred. Like usually we write it as y pred, here notation is different. So y pred is also written as h theta of x. So now here minus 1 by m summation of y into log of y pred plus 1 minus y into log of 1 minus y pred. Okay, that is what is your j value here. So j is minus 1 by m summation of y into log of y pred plus 1 minus y of log of 1 minus y pred. So like that, this is the cost function here. So now again here also we have to find out the log value of the predicted values for the given x. Then we will get the j value here. So now as this becomes little bit complicated doing in pen and paper, in real time also you are not going to do it in pen and paper, all these things. Usually you will be doing in a scientific way, that is by using SciP, that is scientific Python, or you can also use scikit, that is scientific kit. In machine, that's a machine learning package which we have already used, scikit-learn, for linear regression. So same scikit-learn package will be using here to carry out this logistic regression problem. So now to do this logistic regression problem, we are not going to work around with the equations here, because in a normal way in Python, working around this equation will take a lot of time. Okay, for that we are going to use the scientific way of calculating. Just to understand or to remember this, you can remember this equation saying cost function here will be minus 1 by m into summation of y into log of y pred plus 1 minus y into log of 1 minus y pred, and the activation function, that is the sigmoid function, here is given as f of x equal to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus x, where e is base of natural log. And this f of x, what it does, the sigmoid function, what it does, the function maps any real value in between 0 to 1, that is to probability. Okay, so that's what you can remember here in this case. So now next, to work around this, we will be taking a data set, and based on that we will use logistic regression in a scientific way, that is we will be using scikit-learn package to derive to the solution. Okay, so you can open your Jupyter notebook and then import this file insurance data.csv, then we'll discuss about this file and we'll go ahead.
Hello, Sharu.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the interview they will ask like formula also.
yeah. Some of the interview they ask.
Okay.
See, regression and all these are basic formulas. Like most of the interview they ask only regression and all.
Okay.
Okay, and
And
mostly the formulas are nothing but that will tell you how a model is working. So
yeah.
that's where they ask you those things like how a model is working. Do you know the insights of how actually it tries to figure out the answers? Okay, those things they ask.
And derivation part, like how they derivate or something.
No, nothing like that. They will not ask like how they derive to the equation. Those things they will not ask. Okay, like
Okay.
you saw like gradient descent, they might ask you uh, the overall working phenomena of gradient descent, like what is gradient descent, how it works. It tries to reduce the cost function, so it's an optimization algorithm. So like they might ask you to draw the gradient and show how the weight reduces. Okay, what is the rate of change, that is learning rate, like that basic thing they might ask. So that is the deeper insights on that. They will not ask you like write the entire derivation equation, that they don't ask. No one will ask those.
Okay.
Hello,
Yeah, done.
done, right? So now see here we have this data, that is insurance data, and this is a very small data. Now we are taking all small datas. Going ahead we'll be taking some big datas like from Kaggle and other place. So this is just from UCI machine learning repository. This is small data, and this data just for practice we are using. So now here we have to find out if somebody is likely to buy insurance or not based on their age. So now if somebody is likely to buy insurance means the bought insurance, here what you see is dependent variable. So this bought insurance is dependent variable, age is independent variable. So based on the age we have to predict if somebody is likely to buy insurance. One means that guy bought insurance, zero means that guy didn't buy insurance. Okay, so like that. So now see here these like these all scenarios, like in logistic regression, mostly it is used for probabilistic scenarios. Okay, see in real time, in real life, in mathematics there are two kinds of scenarios in our environment. Okay, now mathematics is all about study of environment, like where we communicate with our environment. So now there are two kinds of things which happen in our environment. One is probabilistic things. Probabilistic means like there is always probability associated with the outcome. Like if you like if you take example, suppose somebody asking who is going to win the cricket match. Okay, so it's probable anyone can win. So similarly, like somebody is asking you what's the weather condition today. Okay, like is it going to rain, how sure you are is it going to rain. So now all these are probabilistic. So like if somebody is likely to survive or not. Okay, there is some attack somewhere going on, some riot going on, what is the likelihood how many people will survive. So like that all these are probability based questions which happen in real time. Similarly, we have something called as feature based or range based. Range based means how similar something is. Like if somebody is asking you, okay, if someone is having diabetes or not. So you cannot say, okay, it looks like he might have, he might not have. You cannot say that. So you have to go through all the features, and based on the feature, you will say, okay, either someone is diabetic or not. So it's like feature based. Similarly, if somebody is asking you, okay, there is a creature on the road, is it a dog or is it a cat? So you will try to compare it with dog and cat, and you will see, okay, where the comparison is matching more. Based on that you will tell. So that is range based, like how many features are matching. Okay, like what is the range of that particular thing with the other. So like this two kind of scenarios you come across in real time. So this logistic regression is mostly probabilistic in nature. Probabilistic means like when you are trying to figure out a probability based solution, you can go ahead with logistic regression. Okay, this is like some understanding which you need to have. Usually people use it for all kind of like classification wherever they find it suitable, but mostly as like the algorithm is probability based. Like we saw, sigmoid function is nothing but it maps your integer values with probability, maps your real values with probability. So now this is a probability based function. So it is used for probability based situations. Like here in my data set, I want to find out if somebody is going to buy insurance or not. So this is also probabilistic. So it might be like some 28 years old guy bought insurance. It might be like 28 years old guy didn't buy insurance. Okay, so it depends on somebody's age. Not only age, there might be other factors as well. So age is not the only factor, okay, which will tell us that okay, based on this age, there is 100% guarantee that he or she will buy. So it's not like that. So there is some likelihood of probability associated behind it. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is probability based. So like that, similarly, if I ask you who is going to win a match, you might use logistic regression there because it is probability based. Who is going to win election? It is again probability based. You might use logistic regression there. But if I ask you, like if a person is having cancer or not, if a person is having diabetes or not, okay, those all are like feature based. If the feature are more towards cancer, he or she is having cancer. So we should not be using this logistic regression in those kind of scenarios. Okay, people use it, but there are some other algorithms which are feature based. So if you understand mathematics, mathematics is again, as I told you, is divided into two parts. One is probability based approach, the other one is feature based approach based on the real time scenario. So in real time, we have some scenarios which are probabilistic, some which are feature based. So now this is for probability based. So now here, first what we need to do is we will see what's the relationship between our x and y. So here x is age and y is bought insurance. You can see it looks something like this. So somebody's age is around 20 or so. That guy didn't buy insurance. Here you can see one guy bought insurance. Around 20 to 30, one guy bought insurance. Most of the guy didn't bought insurance. So more likelihood that they are not buying insurance. Okay, like within this age, most of the people are not buying insurance. So like that, if you see 50 to 60, like two people didn't buy insurance, but most of the people buy insurance. So it clearly says like there is more likelihood that those people might buy insurance. Okay, so you can plot this graph. Are you getting this thing?
Yes.
So you can plot this.
Yes.
Okay, so now here we cannot find a straight line, so we have to find a sigmoid line here to map sigmoid with our variable. So now here, before doing that, we have to split our data. See now here what I have done, uh, here I have like df.shape. It shows me that I have 27 records, so 27 records here and two columns. One is age, the other one is bought insurance or not. Then after that, here I'm doing something called as train test split. So now here I am dividing my data into training and testing. Like why I'm doing this, like we'll be discussing about this. There is something called as regularization. Going ahead, we'll be discussing about this. So train test split, what it will do, basically it will divide your data, few data for training and few data it will keep for testing. Okay, so like suppose here I'm saying, okay, from scikit-learn model selection, so this is the package name model selection. To select the models, import train test split. So this function will be used to do the split. So now this train test split function, we have to pass x and y values. So here I'm passing my x value, that is age, Again, x value, whatever you pass in train test split, it should be always two dimension. As I'm passing only one value, so here I'm using two brackets to make it as a two dimension data, and then bought insurance as one dimension. That is our y. Y will always be 1D, but x will be more than one. So that's where here it takes only 2D. That is how this function is made. Then here I'm saying test size equal to 0.1. That means 0.1 means it will keep 10% of the data for testing. So out of 27 records, 10% will be 3 records. So here we will keep 3 records for testing. Rest 25 record, 24 records we will take for training. So 24 record we will use for training means we will use within the equation, and 3 records we will keep outside, like which model doesn't know, and we will use it to for prediction, like we will see if the model is able to predict the data which it has not learned. For that we are doing this train test split. Are you getting this? Are you getting this part, train test split? So you can do this. See, again in train test split, here I am getting age as 47, 62, 19. For you it will be different because it will be random selection. It will pick any random 10% data. Randomly it will pick 10% data. So it can be anything. Okay, it will not match with mine. It will be different for you. As many time you run this, it will keep on changing.
Yeah, I got the point.
Then
Yes, format.
okay, next after that, here we'll be using logistic regression from scikit-learn, that is scientific kit learn package, that is used for machine learning Python package. So here from sklearn linear model, this linear model we had already used this linear model for linear regression. Same linear model has this logistic regression. So here we are saying scikit-learn linear model equal logistic regression. Then model equal to logistic regression, then model dot fit. So fit is for training. So here we are passing our training data. So now here train test split, we are saying okay, x train x test, y train y test. So x train will have all the x training values, y train all the y training values. Similarly test values we are keeping. So test value we will keep for testing, train for training. So now here I am passing training data in model.fit so that it will use that equation, that is f of x equal to 1 divided by 1 plus e to the power minus x, and find out the probability for each of the variable, and then model dot predict on test values. So here I am doing prediction on test value. So test value, what it is predicting is like here, if you see in my test value, first one age is 47. Okay, so it says 47 years old is 1. 1 means that guy is not going to buy insurance. Sorry, 1 means going to buy insurance. So 47 years old is going to buy insurance, 62 years old going to buy insurance, and 19 years old not going to buy insurance. That's what it says within my data. Okay, first you do this, then we'll discuss on the other functions what we have here. Okay, you can write down this. Okay, you will have different prediction because your x test value will be different.
111 I have got 111.
Okay, so your data might be like that. So based on that, it shows. Okay, what were your age values? All were like higher values. I think all will be higher values. Based on that, it's giving.
Me, there is a one value is under 50. So it for me also showing 111.
Okay, so all are like higher values. That's why it shows 111.
No, but age is 45.
Yeah, so 45 years old might buy insurance. That's what it shows. But what is the probability behind it? There will be some probability. Okay, like here, the other function what I have
Yeah,
used is
because
predict underscore
you have
proba.
got 0.
Hello. You see, you
Yeah,
can also refresh that. You can refresh train test split.
mm,
Check if you are getting some different age. Again, you can do that.
Okay, yeah, right. I got different age.
Okay. Now see, there is something called as prediction probability. Like whatever we get, whatever prediction we get, okay, be it feature based equations or be it probabilistic based, whenever we predict anything, there will be probability. Like some doctor telling if someone is diabetic or not based on the feature, how sure the doctor is. Okay, so there is some surety behind the doctor, not behind the model. So that those things are again probability based. So now here, like if you see whatever it has predicted, what's the probability behind those predictions. So for that there is a function called as predict underscore proba. This will give you the probability behind the predictions. So now predict underscore proba of x test I am passing. It says for the first one, okay, like 0. First is always 0, second is always 1 here. So now for 0, probability is 33%. For 1, probability is 66%. So this model is 66% sure that the first guy, that is 47 years old, is going to buy insurance. So there is 66% chance that he is going to buy insurance, 33% chance not going to buy insurance. Similarly, the second guy here, that is 60, it says 1. So probability for 1 is 79. That's why it says 1. So 79% chance that he will buy insurance, 20% chance he will not buy insurance. So you can see here, as it is more than 50%, this is 79, so it says 1. Similarly, the third one, if you see, 58% chance that 19 years old guy not going to buy insurance. So it is higher here on the 0th side, and 41% chance that he might buy insurance. So that's where it has considered it to be 0. Okay, so like that, these are the probability behind the predictions. You can also do this. So to get a better understanding of what's the probability behind the like predictions.
Okay. So it's showing only percentage of whether he's going to buy or not in the
Yes,
percentage.
yes, in the percentage. See,
Swaroop, there,
sometimes what happens, 50, if you are getting 51, 49, that means there is equally likelihood, means they are very, very near.
yes, yes.
So like that also situations will be. So we cannot, in probabilistic situation, we cannot simply rely on one kind of solution. If 49 means also might be a better one. Again, it depends on the threshold.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Swaroop, there is a one doubt. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you explain one more time, like the purpose of the train test split?
Yeah, see, train test split is to break your data for training and testing. Like some data we are training to the model and some data we are keeping for testing. Now see why we are doing this. Okay, like going ahead anyways we'll be learning, but still to tell you. See now, if model already knows the training data, like already knows how the data is and what's the prediction for those data, again if you test those same data, then it will be able to tell the answer easily, right? Because it already knows that if this is the x, what is going to be the y. So what we are trying to do here, we are keeping some data apart, which we are not training to the model, means which we are not telling to the model that this is how the things are. Some data we are keeping apart and that data we are using for testing. Once the model has learned on the training data, we are testing on the test data, that is X test data, and we are seeing how good it is able to predict those test data which it has not learned.
Okay. So,
Getting?
but Yeah, that's the functionality. I got it. What is the purpose behind it? But like in this, we have like how we differentiate which is the test data, which is the train data, because in the test data is showing X when we are printing this is, so how it's calculate, like how it's come with the these data, like which is I got 23, 45, 10, 18 or 18,
Just
19,
pick
like
only 10% of the data as testing. Any 10%. Out
so
of 100%, 27 data, it has picked any three randomly.
random. So it's automatic in the from the program, like code only is giving us the
Yeah,
result.
train test split function, from train test split function, automatically it selects picks three data. Picks
Okay,
three, like that is 10% of the data.
only three data is will select, or
No, no, no,
10%.
it has selected 10%.
10%. Okay.
27 is the data, 10%. If you say 0.2, it will pick 20% of the data.
Okay, so there, what is the test size we are providing is
Yes, yes,
0.1
based on test. Yeah,
based on that. Okay.
yes.
Okay. And we are same, then we are using the model dot fit x train comma y train. So
Yeah,
here
model
we
dot fit is train. Model dot fit means where we'll be
get,
using the equation where model will be learning.
so we are training our model on that. Okay.
Yes, yes,
By
on the train data.
passing, yeah, we train it, and predict we are testing our actual model with the test data, which is
Test data which we have not trained to the model, which model doesn't know. What is the
okay.
y value for those? It doesn't know.
Okay, okay, okay,
Okay, in
okay.
train data, it already knows what is the y value. But in prediction, we are giving test data whose y value we have not told to the model. Now model has to predict. Then we will see how good it is able to predict. We will check the score on test data.
Okay, 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 got it, got it.
See why we are doing this. The reason behind it also you got, because if we already train all the data to the model, again if we ask the model saying, okay, if this is the x, what is the y, it will be able to tell it without any doubt, right? But if we keep some data which outside, like apart from the training, then we can use those data for testing, and also we can check it for scoring off. Also, we can check the score, like to see, okay, how good it is able to predict which it doesn't know.
Okay, okay.
Okay, now you can also predict other values by saying model does predict and pass some variable. Now see, this value you should pass within two square brackets. Here, like this, if you pass, it might show error. You have to pass within two square brackets. So here I'm saying model dot predict for 58. It says 1. That means 58 years old will buy insurance. 21 will not buy insurance. You have to pass this as two dimension within two brackets, two square brackets. Okay, just do this and see.
So here we are passing any random number, right?
Yes, any data you can pass. Don't pass 200 like that age, because only you should pass age values which are trained within the model. Like you should also know the range. How to know the range? You can do describe on the data. It will show you what is the minimum value of age, what is the maximum value of age. Only within that you should do, not
I'm
out
getting
apart from that.
I'm getting error actually.
Yeah, you have to pass it as two dimension, means pass it within two brackets, square bracket, like model dot predict, one round bracket, within two square bracket you write the value. This is like wrong way. Okay, this will not work. Model dot predict, one square bracket, two sorry, one round bracket, two square bracket, then pass. Should be 2D. I would have done this somewhere.
Square
Are you
bracket means,
getting?
no, no. Square bracket means like just the in the they are so
Array,
array
array, like an array, yeah, like a 2D array
is
within
showing in the
two
out.
square.
It's showing in the output like this.
No, like see, model dot predict, yeah, like in output it shows, right? Here one square bracket is there, you have to use two square bracket.
So two square brackets. So to second one, what I have to pass?
No, within two square bracket, like this. 1 second.
Can you just type or something?
Yeah, I'll type. See, like this. You have to pass it like this.
It's a bracket, then two square brackets.
Like
One
this.
closed bracket, then two square brackets. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Like this. You getting now?
Now I'm getting.
Okay, then to check this score, you can check this score by saying model.score of test data. So here you pass the actual X test and Y test. So here it says 1.0. That means 100% accuracy, whatever it has predicted. So whatever it has predicted here is exactly equal to the observed value. So observed value means whatever Y test values were there, Y pred values are exactly matching. So that's where it is giving me 100% accuracy in the test data. Okay, you can also check your score on the test data.
Yeah, done.
Done. Okay. So you got till this.
Yes.
Okay, so there is something called as regularization. Now, see why we did this trend test split. Okay, to understand it better, we have something called as regularization, which will let you know why we did this trend test split. We will do this tomorrow. Can we do this tomorrow?
Kasif, are you free? Well, like, are you able to?
Hello.
Yeah, it's okay. Then and take tomorrow also.
Okay, we will continue this tomorrow. Like this is your logistic regression, and we'll understand more into why we do this regularization. We'll also see different types of regularization which are there. Okay, after that we'll be starting off with like data pre-processing. Then we'll be starting with
Okay.
kind of here.
Good night.